Welcome to this episode of the Left Behind Game Club. This week we play episode 3 of Telltale Games' The Wolf Among Us. Now this week, Jacob started to get a little creepy.
Yo, you're creepy.
No, like I just wanted to get the information out of her that I need. Don't go creepy. I'm not Ichabod Crane. Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Creepy McCourt.
No, I'm not Ichabod Crane. Stop it. Stop. Don't put me in the same...
Guys?
What?
So, you know what I realized? So the game is called The Wolf Among Us. Jacob, you are the wolf.
You are the wolf.
You're listening to the Left Behind Game Club.
Welcome to the Left Behind Game Club, our never-ending attempt to make sure that no game is left behind. I'm your host, Jacob McCourt, and today I have two friends with me. The first friend, you know him, you love him. I love him. Michael Ruffolo.
I'm excited to talk about another great episode of a great game.
To talk more about Wolf Among Us, episode 3, is Murtadi.
Yep. Another good episode.
So, just before we get into episode 3 of The Wolf Among Us, named A Crooked Mile, I just want to say that we've done 2 episodes of this already. So if you want to follow along with this series, I probably recommend you start with the first episode, which is episode 47. Listen to episode 48. Those 2 cover episodes 1 and 2 of The Wolf Among Us Season 1. And then come back to this. It's going to be here when you get to it. So just start with those first. Gentlemen, give a quick recap of what we just noticed at the end of episode 2.
So at the end of episode 2, we see a murder scene with a lot of incriminating evidence for Ichabod Crane. And then the camera pans out, and there's Ichabod Crane breaking the mirror on the wall so he cannot be tracked, and then he disappears. And so we're left knowing that we need to hunt down Ichabod Crane, and without a very good way to track him down and hunt him.
A murder, you say?
I love you, Jake. I want you to never change.
That was not my intention at all, but go on.
All right. So, Jacob, now that we know how the last episode ended, where do we pick up?
So this picks up exactly where we left off. So you're in the murder scene, you're there with Beauty and Beast, and that's when you leave to contact Snow. And when you contact Snow, you find out that the funeral for Lily, who died in the past episode, is just about to start.
The one thing you left out is, like, you're fuming. You're really upset because, like, you find out that Crane was after Snow and he was doing some really unnice things to her. So you're kind of, like, really upset. You know that he might be hunting her or tracking her or something. So you're using all of your rage saying, I gotta find her, I gotta tell her what's going on. And there's no real option to do anything besides that. It's kind of like, do you cuss up a storm? Do you move everyone out of the way? That's kind of where we're headed.
And so you end up at the funeral, and I think the first decision that you're kind of offered is, am I going to interrupt the funeral and be a big jerk? Or am I just going to let Snow continue her eulogy and look around the area of the funeral?
Jacob, what did you do?
You know what? I don't know if it's me turning a new leaf or what, but I decided, you know what it is? I have a soft spot for Snow.
Okay.
So I decided to let Snow, or maybe I have some human decency.
So you're a big bag meanie until Snow's involved, and then you're a nice guy.
I think so.
Gotcha.
I think so. But really, I think it was like, this is a funeral, guys. Like, I have my limits to how much of a big bad wolf I am.
Gotcha.
What did you do?
So my biggest concern was finding Snow to make sure I could protect her. For me, there was no difference between interrupting and just waiting because she was safe no matter what. Mo, what did you do?
Almost the same thing, Mike. My biggest thing was when I had to go after her and I found out she was in danger from the hotel room. I said, I just have to find her. Once I saw her there, I'm like, okay, she's like in a safe place. And I really want them to have their moment for Lily to kind of have her little funeral. And Holly was there and like kind of worked up that I even showed up. So I played it very nice. Let them have as much time as possible. I kind of just kept choosing the option to stay out of it and give Holly as much like space and like accommodation as possible.
And at the funeral, you know, let's say you're going through the different objects that are that are there. So you kind of see at the offering table, you see, postcards that Lily's friends have left. You see some whiskey that, she might have liked to drink. And that's when people notice that you're there at the funeral, and that's when the confrontations start. And this is all before the title card. So like it's a very front-loaded episode. What happens next from there?
This is when your interaction happens with Holly, when she's confronting you, saying like, why are you here? What are you doing? And I don't know about you guys, but I completely gave up the firm, proper police officer act, and I just kind of, I gave her all the information she wanted. When they asked like, why are you here? I was like, I know who the murderer is, like straight out. And then she's like, who is it? And then she's like, no, you can't say this. We should say it somewhere else. And I was like, I think Crane did it or something, because I wanted to make sure Holly knew it, because I was like, what's... She's already suffered enough. Like, she does need to know. Like, I don't want to be that big bad wolf anymore. I said, let's just open up the floodgates and give all the information away.
Dude, rookie mistake.
Really? So, Mr. Big Bad Cop, what did you do? Give us the procedure. What's the procedure to follow?
You don't give an answer because you don't have... It's not confirmed that it's him.
Top secret?
You have a suspect.
Okay. So what did you say?
I said, I think I know who the killer is, but I can't say.
That sounds like a cop out.
So yeah, I did cop out, but I gave the right answer because, frankly, we are not positive it's Crane.
No.
Like I said in our last episode, there was a lot of incriminating evidence towards Crane, but it could very easily be a setup. So I think that there's still enough ambiguity there. Definitely enough to know that I would want to make sure Snow's okay, and that I want to find Crane and ask him some questions.
I want to chime in because I think I have to correct myself. So I don't think I said Crane did it. I think there was an option that says I think Crane was involved. So that's what I picked it. I didn't pick the option where it was like Crane did it. I just kind of brought him up to kind of at least give her some kind of information. And then I think I sided with Holly because, like I said, like Crane's a prick. Like he's not a guy to be trusted. So I want to kind of like be in her friend group to try to maybe get more information. And later on, that was my detective mindset going in. Let's befriend this person who may be a key witness or contributor later on in the future.
I hear what you're saying, Mo. It's just I didn't think there was much value to giving her the information. You know my flow chart. What do I have to gain from saying anything? And I think mostly because she had no information to begin with. She's coming to you for answers. There's not much that she can give. So in my mind, I have everything to lose and very little to gain from telling her stuff. Jacob, what did you do?
There's a lot of hatred in my heart for Ichabod Crane. I think in the hierarchy of who I hate, I drew a little graph here. I hate Crane the most, followed by Toad because he's so annoying.
How scientific is this graph?
Is
it to scale?
No, it's not to scale.
What is the scale?
The scale is imagine like a little line. No, it's just it's a line chart, and on the scale of like who I hate, it's like Crane at the top, Toad is after that, and then D and Dumb are after that.
Gotcha.
So you know what I said? I just walked right up and I just dropped the Ichabod Crane bomb. I was like, it was Crane. It was Crane.
Rookie move.
It was Crane.
You're unbelievable.
Thank you. But it really doesn't matter because of what happens next.
What does happen next?
D and Dumb show up with a shotgun because of course those jerks do.
Yeah.
God, I hate them.
Yeah, you really don't like them.
Like I said, Crane, Toad, D and Dumb.
I can't believe you don't like Toad more than you like D and Dumb.
He's got look at his face and his accent. He's like, I'm like better
Toad.
than you.
Wow, that's racist, culturalist.
No, it's not. He's just got an annoying little accent.
His face? Is it because his face is green and not skin colored?
Oh boy, you're
Jacob,
just
Is it because he's not wearing a glamour?
You're opening up a can of worms that I'm sure
I'm
he'd
not
love.
opening anything. I feel like you've already opened it.
I've opened this can of worms that I'm sure
Mr.
the
Toad
ate.
will enjoy.
Yep. Go on.
Okay.
My biggest concern with Tweedledee and Tweedledum showing up right behind me is they're standing right next to me. And in my playthrough, remember, I kind of opened up the floodgates with the truth. I never wanted to lie to anyone, and especially in this episode. So I felt like, I'm building some pretty good rapport. She's going to trust me now. And now I'm standing right next to the two bad guys. Like, I'm just going to throw all of this out the window now because they're going to think I'm conspiring with these two. Because one of the things they try to tell you is like, hey, you need to forget about Ichabod Crane. Just go back to your like office, forget any of this happened, and we'll kind of walk away from here. And I don't know about you guys, but I did not agree to this situation. I kind of declined every which way I could. I kept asking, like, do you work for Crane, etc.
So you know what the options are?
What
the
are the
options
options?
basically get to F off, don't do this here, or you work for Crane. And of course,
That's what I chose.
You work for Crane? I picked F off.
I said don't do this here.
Oh, no? You said don't do this
I
here?
said don't do this here.
Okay.
I said, like, let's go somewhere else, and
Yeah.
then you can try and shoot at me, and, then I'll take you out.
Yeah.
And
So
you
what
said
happened?
F off.
I said F off.
Of
I
course
told
you
him
did.
F off.
Yeah.
So
Productive.
that's when the people from the actual funeral come walking towards you, and that's when the actual confrontation. Yo, this goes from 0 to 100 real quick.
Yo, Gren's a big boy.
Yeah, because they just transform. They start talking, but then when you realize that the confrontation is kind of amping up, that's when the glamours go, and that's when Holly and Gren get into the position they have to. My one-armed Gren.
Oh, right, because you ripped Gren's arm off.
Yeah, so he's got one arm in this whole game now.
See, he's got 2 arms in my universe. What about yours, Mo?
He's got 1 arm, I believe. No, he's got 2 arms because I didn't break it like Jacob.
Yeah.
One of the things here, though, is like when you're being confronted and they kind of all transform, I was getting so nervous still because I was holding on to my little point of view saying, like, oh, I have all this rapport. And then they start talking about that there was a deal being made. And that's when they transform and say, what deal? And I kind of tell them they want me to stay silent about Ichabod Crane. And I'm like, yes, they're gonna trust me even more. And that's when the pump shotguns kind of start going off. I don't know about you guys, but how it happened for me is Holly got shot first because she's the first one to charge. And then Gren got pumped too a couple times. And that's when you kind of go a little crazy and start transforming.
Jacob, what happened in yours?
Yeah, very similar. You start to go ham and you subdue the brothers, but that's like after Gren and Holly get shot. So imagine it's this 0 to 100 confrontation and then like title card.
Yep.
That was like, I'm like, ooh, yeah, let's go.
Yep.
I thought
Yep.
there was deaths though too. I thought Holly was done. That was it. And I thought Gren was done too. And I'm like, oh my goodness, telling them all this information like probably led to them getting killed. I'm such a bad police officer. Why did I do this? And yeah, I was like, damn it, I must have ruined something. Like they shouldn't have died, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I hear that.
So you get shot in the shoulder, and after the title card, you're with Dr. Swinehart, who basically goes like, you need to rest because you haven't slept. I thought Snow was going to die, so I haven't slept. But you have like parts of the shotgun shell inside of your arm.
The buckshot.
Still. The buckshot in your arm, and the doctor's like, you need to rest. And I think I just, again, was a complete dillweed to him. And that's when you learn that at the business office that Crane has smashed the magic mirror.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you see it in the game previously, but this is the first time your characters recognize it, and you're like, okay, well, we've got what's our little flying monkey? What's his name? Buckwheat. Buckfast.
No, try again.
I don't know. Bucky.
Keep going.
The buck monkey.
Buffkin.
Buffkin. That's it.
What was the last one you said?
Buck monkey.
Yes, Mr. Buck Monkey. Go on.
So Buffkin, he's like, okay, well, like, we're just gonna have to put the mirror back together. And Buffkin starts putting it together, and you realize, oh boy, there's one piece missing. And you're like, God damn. So one piece is missing. We can't put the mirror back together. It's going to take forever for it to heal itself. We won't be able to use it to find out where our boy Ichabod went.
Creepy Crane.
Creepy Crane.
Mm-hmm.
Creepy Crane. It's his rap name.
Yeah. Creepy Crane in the house.
Ichabod's what his mom calls him. And so...
Call me Ichabod, but only on Sundays.
And I believe this is a part where you get to have some amount of investigation in the office. And I'm not sure we find anything that's too consequential.
No, Mo?
It's just when you're talking with... Eventually, when you're kind of looking for the missing piece, you start chatting with Buffkin. And he talks about how he was meaning to meet up with his witch at 2 a.m. And you're like, wait, hold on. What witch? Like, where's this information coming from? And I thought it was pretty funny. He's like... They're like, why did you leave this information out? And he's like, no one asked me.
Yeah.
So and then it's the same reaction that you guys are giving, like, oh my God, are you serious? Like, so you find out that Ichabod Crane was going to meet with a witch, and he has plans to meet her at 2 a.m. And now you're trying to figure out, what is this witch? Who is this witch? And where can we find her?
Did you blame Buffkin butt monkey when he doesn't do anything to intervene with Crane?
Yeah,
Jacob,
so my
you were a
feelings,
dickhole to him for
but
sure.
like my feelings towards Buffkin are very similar to my feelings towards Jar Jar Binks in the Star Wars universe.
Get out of here!
It's a Krista. I'm Buffkin.
Wow.
I hate Buffkin.
Why?
So like I'm very mean to him. I'm just a mean
He's
wolf.
just got a drinking problem. Gotta have sympathy.
He's a flying monkey in this Fable universe that has a drinking problem.
Yeah, he's got a drinking problem.
Please
He's got
don't get
problems. He's got real problems.
Just like Jar Jar. Go on.
Mo, what did you do? Save me from Jar Jar.
I didn't. I think I missed the actual cue to click something, which I found. I don't know about you guys. So you guys are playing on like the console with the controllers in your hands at all times, but like on mouse and keyboard, like especially in this game, because a lot of it is just like clicking or like pressing a keyboard button. I'm kind of just like watching the theatrical movie itself happen, and like every once in a while I'll click and click. But if I'm not paying attention to it, I've missed like one or two interactions. I think this was one of them.
Yeah, sometimes I actually walk around my room, my gaming room, with the controller in one hand, just with like the buttons ready to go. And I'm not watching like 100% of the time. Like I'm watching like maybe 90% of the time, just like walking around the room, kind of casually playing the game. Because there's two modes in this game, right? The walk around part and the story part. And the story part, you can just take a leisurely stroll, right?
Right. Exactly. So it's very clear what I did. I consoled him.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, it's not your fault. You're like a 2.5 foot monkey. There's no way that you're going to be able to take down the fearsome Ichabod Crane.
Butt monkey.
Yeah. Butt monkey.
Mr. Buck Monkey.
Buck monkey. So what happens after you're done investigating the office?
So, you know, in the office, you find some letters which basically show that Ichabod Crane is incompetent. You find the 207 key, which to me, like, I was like, oh, the 207 key is here. This makes sense.
Right.
But now I'm like, maybe it was actually planted.
Maybe it was planted all along.
And
Maybe
that's
it
when
wasn't.
you discover a book with a torn page that shares information about a magical item, a magical ring that we'll find out more about later. I don't know if we want to talk about it right now.
And our favorite little monkey just can't remember what was on that page.
Because he's incompetent and he needs to stop drinking.
Look, he can't know everything.
He
Mo,
has an
do you think he
important
can know
job.
everything?
I think he's just hammered and always just not paying attention. I give him the pass. I don't think he's that big of a contributor to the real story. I think the ring part was pretty big. And the placing of the room 207 key, that one in specifically, I felt, okay, maybe he is being kind of framed.
Yo, what if Buffkin is framing Ichabod Crane? Yo. He would be able to hide stuff in the office. He would know where everyone is. He would very easily be able to break that mirror. He's got an alibi of just having the
he just needs
reputation of being incompetent and a drunk.
Mm-hmm.
There are very few people who would point fingers at Buffkin the little monkey.
This is like a
The butt
usual
monkey.
suspects kind of thing.
Exactly. He is Kaiser Soze.
He is Kaiser Soze. Whoa.
Yeah.
Listen. Buffkin is this universe's Dewey Decimal System. He has a very important job, and he needs to make sure that he shows up to work in a competent state and can be our Dewey Decimal.
Right. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Hey, I can't
For
argue
now.
with you there.
Having fun isn't hard when you have a library card.
Word.
Okay. So we get out of the business office and we go where?
So before you even come out of the business office, this is when Bluebeard storms in. And he's like, what's going on? Like, what are we doing here? And you're kind of put in a position where do you follow like what he wants to do, or do you follow what Snow White wants to do? So he's telling you he's definitely hiding up in his like apartment complex. So Bluebeard's saying, I'm gonna go up there and like find him or look up what's going on in there. Snow White is kind of confused, thinking like, I don't know why he wants to go up there so bad. I think he's gonna be looking for something. Something doesn't smell right here. Meanwhile, the other options are to go to the Tweedledee Tweedledum offices. And I believe the third option is to go back to the bar to investigate Lily's stuff to see if there's any clues as to who the witch is, what the witch is doing. And it's a little bit of an argument. So the big decision that kind of leads up is, with this information, Bluebeard also tells you that whatever you don't do, he's going to do. So you get the 3 options. Do you go to Dee's office? Do you go to Crane's apartment? Or do you go to Holly's bar to look for Lily's things? Jacob, what did you do?
Well, I just want to point out stylistically, like, this is a very cool way to do it, because you walk up to, like, a big glass window in the business office, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like, your 3 options kind of come up on screen in a way that I've not seen in a Telltale game before.
It was like 3 panels in a comic book.
Yeah,
Kinda,
it fit
yeah.
the aesthetic perfectly, and like you said, you're given those 3 options, you know, to do in whatever order you want, but you have that 2 a.m. meeting that you have to make it to. So I just want to point out one thing. I think the voice performances of Bluebeard are great. It's Dave Fennoy, who's in other Telltale games. He plays Lee in The Walking Dead. He also plays characters in the Guardians of the Galaxy game, and he also plays Lucius Fox in the Telltale, the Batman series.
So what did you decide, Jacob?
So what I started with first was Dee's apartment first.
Same here. Mo, what'd you do?
Sorry, Dee's office or
Dee's office?
Crane's
Dee's
apartment?
office, yes.
Yeah, Dee's
Dumb
office.
and Dee's office.
I went to
Tweedledee and
Crane's
Tweedle.
apartment right away because of the fact that he was very insistent that he wanted to go up there, and I kind of like got that vibe that maybe he is looking for something, so I chose to go to Crane's apartment first.
So you were trying to prevent him from taking
Going
or
there.
contaminating
Yeah,
evidence.
I didn't
See-
want him to go to the place he wanted to go if he really did want to go there and had some malicious ideas.
Yeah, you
behind
thought
it.
he was playing like 4-dimensional chess with you and trying to trick you into
Kinda, I
not
thought
wanting
may-
to go there.
I thought it was the one, kinda, yeah, yeah.
It made no sense for him to be in that room up in the same building that he was trying to escape from. So I was like, there's no way he's there, and I want to go to the place where I stand the best chance of finding him or finding information on him. So I went out of there. I went to the Tweedledee and Tweedledum's office.
That was my exact thought as well. Is let's go where the hottest lead is. So should we talk about the hottest lead?
Well, since you and I, Jacob, have the most, I think, in common, I want to find out first what Mo finds up in Ichabod Crane's place.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went up there not expecting to find anything, but you go up to the apartment and you see that the door's already open. So you're like, oh, someone's either been here or something's going on. You walk in, you investigate throughout the apartment. Navigating through, you realize that his bedroom is locked. So you look around his like kind of desk space area. You find a key, end up opening it, and jumping out of the window with a bag in his hand is actually Jack, the Jack and Jill.
No way!
Jack and the Beanstalk. Yeah, so he's climbing out of the window, and your options, I believe, were like grab him, tell him to stop, or like say hey or something like that. So for me, I'm like, he's not getting away. I grab him right away, and you kind of start talking with him, and he's being very evasive, saying like, oh, I just watered the plants for Crane in the middle of the night, and
Yeah, sure.
yeah, Bigby is like, there's no plants here. Like, what are you watering? So I think I punch him in the gut next because I'm like, I need answers, like kind of like right now kind of situation, and he's about to run away, and I didn't know what his deal was.
Wait, so if it's Jack and Jill, doesn't he run up the hill to get some water?
I don't know.
Watering the plant seems very plausible then.
So maybe it is.
It's a little too perfect.
You know me, I like to tie things up with a nice,
You do.
beautiful bow.
A nice little bow.
Is the Crooked Man brought up at all?
I don't remember the Crooked Man being brought up because I didn't remember him until the very end of this episode.
Okay, so should we then talk about our experience going
Yeah.
to Dee and Dum's office?
Yeah. So, you get to Tweedledee and Tweedledum's office, and you find Scooter. What's his real name? He's a Scooter to me.
Flycatcher.
Flycatcher, that's
with his
it.
stupid hat.
With a dumb hat. And he's a janitor at the
Scooter?
place. He looks like a Scooter, okay? He looks like a guy you'd call Scooter or Skip.
Or Skeeter.
Or Skeeter,
Yeah.
even a Skeeter.
Yeah.
And so you start talking with him, and you don't give him too much information. And he talks about how much he really likes Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and how they're good guys just trying to help people out. And you get more and more out of him. And then you finally have to break it to him that, like, dude, these guys are not good people. They're harming you. They're harming everyone around you. You need to help me. And he's like, oh, wow, really?
But Bigby, they give people money all the time. They have to be good guys, right?
Right, they have to be just the best guys.
Oh, Scooter.
Oh, Skip. Oh, Skeeter. Oh, little flycatcher. So you end up I think, kind of soft promising him, at least I did, that he would have a job at the business office or at the apartments, one of the two places, when this is all over, and he doesn't work for them anymore because he's like, oh, I don't want to work for bad people. And you get some information. What information do you get?
I think it's mostly related to, like, you start to look through records. And what's cool about this whole sequence is, depending on how you do things, you get the most information out of the first act. The second act gives you a little bit, and then whatever you pick third gives you the least amount of information. So you actually have the opportunity to look through their whole office. So you see some memos that they've typed out to each other about, like, wanting a dog.
I love how short these memos are.
Yes, they're like, dumb, I would like a dog. Sincerely yours, D.
Yeah.
Just like the dumbest stuff. I actually offered Flycatcher a job because I hate D and dumb so much, which was surprising. But you start looking through their stuff, and you come upon a key. And that key, after you pry with Flycatcher a little bit, allows you to access a secret passage into kind of a lower area in their office where they hide all the good stuff.
And what is the good stuff?
It's mostly just records about who owes whom money.
Right.
So there are a lot of files, and you are given the opportunity to look through, like, I think the A to C files.
Right.
So obviously Crane is in there. Cinderella's file is in there, which I guess she's just on a vacation. That's the whole thing. But you kind of start to put together the picture that a lot of people owe the Crooked Man money.
There's a lot of string on the wall that's now being tied together.
Mm-hmm.
And so we find out Ichabod Crane owes quite a bit of money. And he's been, I think, playing a shell game with the funds of the Fable Town to try and keep this debt going.
I just remembered what I got from Jack. So while you're kind of talking to him and chatting him up, he offers to help you out, and he tells you about someone named Auntie Greenleaf, and that's the witch that you were looking for. So that's the information he drops on me before I kind of continue on. Sorry about that. I just remembered.
No. It's good to add. And so we find out all these people owe debts. Do we find anything else before we go and meet up? The witch?
No, I don't think so. And I think the way it goes, because Mo, I think what you did next is you went to see D and Dumb's office next, right?
I did not go there at all.
Okay, so
I went straight to the bar. Was my second option.
Okay, so our second option, I'll just quickly go through it. Is we actually went to the same place you went first. So we went to Crane's apartment. We go there and we find out Bluebeard has burned everything.
I did not go there.
Oh, you did not do that?
No.
Okay, so I don't know how it differs, but my second choice was going to Crane's apartment, and that's where you find out Bluebeard has burned everything.
So he's just burned the entire apartment to the ground?
No, so in the fireplace is anything that could be used as evidence is just in the fire. The fire's out, and it's all been burned.
How do you know it's Bluebeard?
What?
I believe he says Bluebeard has been here already.
Oh, I know why. Because remember he said he's going to go to the thing you don't go to.
Yeah.
So because I went there, he didn't burn it down. So because you went somewhere else first, he went there first because that's where he wanted to go.
But why is he burning evidence? He's supposed to be on my side.
I don't understand that at all.
Tune into episode 4 to find out.
Hey.
Oh, boy.
Where did you guys go second?
I went to the pub.
You said you went to Trip
the bar.
Trap, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened at Trip Trap when you went? Who was there?
So when you get there, you're greeted by a very friendly and accommodating Gren, who, as you remember, was just shot in the chest and the face with those shotguns. Come to find out, he's taking some medication to help him with the pain, and he's very kind of not himself because he's being kind for once to Bigby. And so the
He's
woodsman
buff
is
kidding
also
for
there.
sure.
Yeah,
He's
he's high as a
also
kite.
there.
He's high as a kite.
Mm-hmm.
Mo, what happens after you have a little chat with Gren?
He starts offering you a drink, and the woodsman keeps telling him, "Man, stop drinking." And I decided to take a drink with Gren because I said, "What is he? He's a titan. He's a monster. He's gonna be fine. He doesn't have these weaknesses that us humans have with medication and alcoholic beverages." So you kind of have a drink with him, and some information comes out. Turns out that the woodsman has actually been sleeping with Lily and paying her to sleep with her without Holly knowing, and he didn't tell Holly, kind of behind her back. So this is kind of changes the dynamic of why he was being so nervous and worried when you mentioned that Holly was dead. It's because he seemed to have a very intimate relationship with her.
Jerry. That's my mouth. Like in this episode, there was a lot, but in that instance, I'm like, oh snap!
Really?
Because I like it's not something you were expecting. Like it's one of those
Yeah.
like secondary storylines, and I'm just like the woodsman. Who's that? I kind of forget.
This is the least shocking thing that I've found in this whole game.
Really?
Yeah, I look like he was sleeping with someone that looked like Snow White, Faith. Also, he deals with sex workers, right? Also, there's a bunch of story about murder in this, so like this is not super surprising and like out of left field for a story where there's much worse that's happening.
Right. I just didn't think they were going to go there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's not. It's like the 17th story down.
Right.
Of like,
Ratchet
that's
the
the
interpersonal
thread we're going to
dynamic.
go to.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
I think they just like tied up the loose end that we kind of had with him. Like we didn't know if he was part of it, why he wasn't. He acted really strange when we brought it up to him originally. Now like it comes out and you kind of see where his mind's at, and he's not so mysterious anymore. You kind of know where he was coming from with that little awkward interaction. After that, though, this is when you kind of are told that Holly is asleep in the back, and you don't know where Lily's stuff is, but she might know where it is. So you stumble in, and you find Holly passed out from the drugs because she was also shot several times. And you kind of have a weird interaction where she's half awake and asks you if you're the woodsman or whatever. She's like, oh, like, Woody, is that you? I don't know about you guys, but I said, yep, it's me. Keep talking.
What about you, Jacob?
Yeah, I kind of just let her talk to see
Yep.
if I could get information out of her.
Yep. I did. I said no, it's not the woodsman, and then I just let her continue to keep talking.
Okay. Well, for me, like when she thought I was the woodsman, she kept talking. She asked like if the woodsman, aka myself, thought that Bigby was a good guy and like if he actually cares. And I think I ended up telling him, he was like, yeah, he just wants to do what's right. And she's like, oh, really? Well, okay, I'll take your word for it. And I'm like, yes, finally, they're gonna believe that I'm the good guy. Like they're not gonna keep like hating me. With that being said, eventually she rolls over and you pull out a little like item box with the trinkets that I'm assuming were with Lily when she passed, and this is what you're coming after to try to see if there's any more leads.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a photo in there, and there's also a glamour capsule again, like in there. I want to bring up one thing right away that I noticed. At the time, I didn't know if it meant anything, but it seemed like in the photo there was a huge emphasis on they all had the same necklace. I don't know if you guys caught that or anything, but they all had the same ribbon necklace on.
What do you mean they?
So there's a photo of I'm gonna mess up the names.
The girls at the club, at the strip
Yes.
club. Yeah. So they were all wearing that. Faith had one, right? Early on in the game, Faith kind of points at it to let you know, like, hey, you should recognize this. And then you notice it, I think, on all of the girls at the strip club.
Yeah, they all had it like on there or whatever. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's like a friendship bracelet, or maybe they're connected somehow. I didn't know what the actual cause was, but I know that's the first thing kind of jumped out at me.
It's a friendship bracelet saying their pimp should, it's a pimp friendship bracelet.
Oh, I just kind of realized the significance of it being around their neck.
Yeah.
Oh, like a noose?
Well, yeah, kind of
And
like
it keeps
Or
them
like a
quiet.
closing, yeah, keeps them
Oh.
quiet, yeah, on their vocal cords.
Yeah.
Oh, snap. Okay. I'm there now.
Right.
I got there.
Yeah, so I just saw that, and I'm like, I wonder if there's like, but I didn't think much of it at all. I just said, oh, okay, this is kind of like a memory thing, because there's also the necklace around the first head you saw of Faith earlier on. I
And
think it was in her mouth.
was there anything on the ribbon or in the box next to it? Because I know that on Faith's, there was the ring that Prince Lawrence gave her. So it might be that like the thing that's tied to it is the thing that they love the most, the thing that's holding the
maybe.
promise together.
So yeah, with that, you also get to like pick up the book that's in there as well, and it has a bunch of addresses. It seems like an address book that Lily had, and I think that's when you kind of are looking through it, and all the names are in acronyms, and Bigby puts together, in my playthrough at least, because he was told that it was Auntie Greenleaf that was the witch. So he found the acronym AG and found an address there, and at this point, I think this is when the phone starts ringing at the bar. you pick it up and it's Snow saying like, hey, like, did you find anything? What's going on? And you're like, yes, I found her address. It's Auntie Greenleaf. She's at so-and-so. Let's go there right now.
Yep. Same thing happened in mine. Jacob?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the same thing happened in mine as well.
Okay. So we move on to go to the apartment with Auntie Greenleaf. Mo, you want to take from here?
For sure. So once you get there, you get to this apartment and you knock on. For me, you have the option to open the door, kick the door down, knock or whatever. So I knocked because I feel like I don't know who this is. This could be something nice, blah blah blah. So I want to be the good officer, knock first because I don't know what's in here. I just know it might be a lead. Opens the door. It's a little girl saying like, "Hi, like who are you?" I don't know about you guys, but I was like, this is definitely someone bad. I don't know who it is. I don't know what this kid's doing, but I played it totally safe, but very like skeptical.
Yeah, for those of you who have played BioShock, I got like a big BioShock Little Sisters vibe in that, like, you know, playing the big bad wolf, I wanted to extract her atom and just take her atom from her.
Yo, you're creepy.
No, like I just wanted to get the information out of her that I need. Don't go creepy. I'm not Ichabod Crane. Don't you dare.
Goodness.
Don't you dare.
Creepy McCourt.
No, I'm not Ichabod Crane. Stop it. Stop. Don't put me in the same...
Guys?
What?
So, you know what I realized? So the game is called The Wolf Among Us. Jacob, you are the wolf.
You are the
us.
wolf among us.
Stop it, guys. This is going on the internet. Don't put me in the same school as Ichabod Crane. He's a creep.
Okay, I take it back. But I'm just saying, like, the whole little sister relationship in BioShock is creepy to begin with. So I didn't, you know.
Maybe we'll explore that when we play BioShock someday.
Well,
Okay. Well, I'm the big bad wolf, so I kicked the door down. And there was
you
this
found
child.
a little girl inside.
Yep, and she feared me.
Yeah, I wonder why.
I wonder why. And you begin to have this conversation with this little girl. You ask her a bunch of questions. I believe you look around the apartment and you see this giant tree in the apartment. You find a box on the floor and it's, you know, addressed to the butcher. And then, you know, Rachel, who you find out that's the name of the girl, you know, you see on the table, you know, after Rachel says, I want to go to bed, you see a glamour tube on the actual table with a bunch of tools around it, right? Mm-hmm. So that's when you start to go, wait, this isn't what this seems here, Mo.
Yeah, and like before that, you're investigating the entire room and nothing's kind of happening. It's very, very like there's nothing here. Ichabod Crane's not here. But once you touch that, she starts getting a little bit more vibrant and like excited, saying like, don't touch that, mom will be so angry at me, like, and she seemed like a genuinely concerned child, like terrified that she might get in trouble or attacked or something. And it gets to the point where I think, Jacob, you're leading to when you open up the glamour vial and dun da da da,
Auntie Greenleaf goes from a small child and appears before you as an old lady, and she is pissed.
Yeah.
She is pissed.
She's like, you touch my stuff.
Yeah.
She's like
really
Sheldon
upset.
Cooper when you sit in their chair.
I don't know. I don't follow.
Big Bang Theory?
Oh, I hate that show. So anyways, you see that there's this magical tree there, and she's like, do not break my tree. Do not screw with it. That's how I make my money. That's how I make my living. And you realize that Auntie Greenleaf has been making these off-market glamours out of this magic tree on the sly, on the low, at a discounted rate. And she is the main supplier of our one Mr. Ichabod Crane.
Yeah, she brings up the point that like she's the reason why like people can afford it is because she's able to provide it to them. But the reason why you even bring up that tree as well is Snow and Bigby start questioning her, and she's not budging. Like, there's no, like, influencing her. She's flat out saying, I have nothing to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. There's way bigger players at play here that frighten me more than you. Like, there's nothing you can do to change my mind kind of thing. And that's when kind of Snow gets frustrated and says, okay, we're taking that tree down. We're going to burn it on fire. And that's kind of where you kind of get the first actual, like, sense of fear from her. And that's when she brings up, like, don't do that. That's all I need.
So what'd you do, Mo?
I didn't burn the tree. I let her kind of like keep it, but I didn't go the direct like go with Snow. I kind of went it was like a very the easiest way to kind of still please Snow, but also not burn the tree down. I can't remember the actual tasks, though.
Jacob, what did you do?
Well, I felt conflicted because, you know, she's obviously she defends the tree, and she's like, this is from the old world. It's one of the last artifacts we have of the old world. Please don't destroy it. This is my livelihood, whatever. But I'm the big bad wolf, so I burned her tree down.
Damn it, Jacob.
Burn it down!
You did.
So I defied Snow. I did not burn it down. I also made it clear you're not my boss. We are equals, if anything. And yeah, I just thought like, hey, we could use this. There's no reason to burn this down. I've got some leverage over this witch. Who knows? We might be able to make use of this later. You never know when you need to do undercover work, is what I'm saying.
Okay. And I was just thinking, like, I'm a law-abiding big bad wolf, so, like, let's burn this tree down.
Right.
And that's what leads to, like, the final sequence of the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you have to go back to the pudding and pie, correct?
Yeah, and before you go to the pudding and pie, though, I got information from the witch talking about the ring. Because she says, okay, I gave Crane the ring that's supposed to make people tell the truth no matter what, kind of like that little whiplash thing that Wonder Woman has, the lasso of truth or whatever. So but she's also telling Bigby that this ring won't work. Like, it's lost its powers like decades ago, but Crane doesn't know that. So you find out that Crane is going to be going to like approach some of these like dancers to get information out of them, and you don't know really what he's doing, but he's saying that it might clear his name. So you kind of get that hint that maybe Crane, maybe he didn't do it because like he's looking for the truth. No one would really follow that plan of action if they were guilty, kind of thing.
Yeah, it seems like he's trying to absolve himself of all the crimes that he's been accused of. So you cut to the pudding and pie. You confront your man Georgie again, who's, you know, with the help of Hansel, is cleaning up his club. And that's when you're kind of given a series of options when you see Crane, which for me, it was punch Georgie, slap Crane and leave a left handprint mark on his face, and then I broke his nose. Gentlemen, what did you do when you saw Ichabod Crane?
When I initially saw him, so after you get past Georgie and you see Ichabod Crane like on top of the girl, like telling her to tell the truth or whatever, and she's not doing it, I grabbed him right away and I told him like how like much like crap he's in right now, blah blah blah. And I think at the very end, I did punch him in the face because I was like, he deserved it no matter what, because like of this shadiness and his obsessiveness over Snow. But I also like didn't convict him right then and there because you can just tell that of his body language and the way he's acting that he's definitely not the big player here, but he is a part of it. So I did crack him right in the face.
Yeah, you can even tell like as he goes, like he's trying to use the ring of truth, where he's like trying to use it so that he can get someone to abdicate him and say like, hey, I'm not guilty, please prove that I'm not guilty. But the big bad wolf waits for no one, so Crane gets his nose broken. Mike, what happened?
For me, I think it was very clear that, you know, he was trying to prove his innocence. So one, it felt like my theory was, you know, was true, that he was being framed. And then I don't think I actually broke his nose. I think I was like, no, similar to previous when the woodsman was like just begging you. It was like, no, honestly, I wouldn't do this. This is crazy. I'm being, you know, this is bigger than me. Mm-hmm. It made me realize like no guilty person would be trying to do this.
Yeah.
The sequence where you get the option to actually punch his nose. So when I did go to the Crane's apartment earlier on, there was an envelope in there that had some money in it, and it looked like Crane was taking money from the citizens, like in like a very sneaky way, and that's something I ended up confronting him with in this sequence, and he ends up being proud and saying like, oh, I don't regret anything I've done. I did this to make the city run. I'll take money from people if I want, like, you know how much things I've sacrificed. While he's rambling all this stuff about how great he is, that's when I got the option to punch him in the face. I was like, wow, he's not remorseful. He doesn't care. He loves taking the money from the people, and that was my justification to crack him right there, because I knew I was going to take him under arrest, but at least I can give him some early punishment right away. So after that, this is when you arrest him and you start walking him outside of the bar to kind of bring him to the court office or whatever the sequence is. And as you're exiting the alleyway where the entrance was, you get stopped by a car.
Yeah, and I thought the episode was going to be done because, like, not every episode, is going to end on a cliffhanger. So I'm like, oh, we're going to walk him out, and then this is going to be the end of the game. But as you said, Mo, car pulls up. You walk to the other side of the alley because you're like, oh, this must be a mistake, whatever. And that's when 2 limousines pull up, and that's, I think, the coolest part of this whole episode is this confrontation that you're about to have.
So
and I also was, while I was walking out, Jacob, same way as you, I thought this was going to be a very boring finish to an episode because nothing really happened. Sorry, Mike, were you saying something?
No, I was just going to say, walk us through what happens.
Oh, okay. So as Jacob said, the limousines pull up, and Tweedledee and Tweedledum jump out of the car, but so does another new character, a short-haired lady who has a revolver. As she's putting a weapon in it, a round, she puts 1 round into the revolver. And in my head, initially, I'm like, it's definitely a silver bullet.
Yeah,
definitely
buddy.
a silver bullet. There's no way it's not. And she introduces herself as Mary. Jacob, what's the lore behind Mary?
Well, I was actually going to ask you guys the question because beyond like Bloody Mary, which is a drink that involves tomato juice, I think.
Yeah.
I
think
don't
tomato juice and
know.
vodka.
I don't know who Bloody Mary is. Like, I know nothing about Bloody Mary.
I think, okay, this is just off the top of my head from what I've learned over the years. It's that one, like, I don't know if it's a fairy tale or if it's like folklore, whatever it is, where you kind of go into your bathroom, you close the lights, and you say like Bloody Mary 3 times, and then you turn on the lights and she appears and kills you.
Right.
Same
thing with the red rum, red rum, red rum.
Yeah, so that was the whole thing. She's the one that shows up and like murders you if you say her name. And she even mentions it in her little blurb saying, like, all these kids like think it's a game, and then I show up and it's definitely not a game anymore. And she's just like a very slick, like, looks like a gangster, and she's definitely probably the most confident character you see in this game. Like, she owns this situation, and she knows she's in no danger, even though the big bad wolf is right in front of her.
Yeah,
and she's like,
she's badass.
Yeah, going back to your point though, Jacob, I don't know a real story behind Bloody Mary other than it is exactly what Mo said, of like teenage kids or preteens, in the bathroom saying it in the mirror 3 times and, doing it at a sleepover or something.
Yeah. I tried to Google Bloody Mary while we were talking to kind of know what we were talking about, and all it comes up is the drink. It's a cocktail containing vodka, tomato juice, and a combination of other spices and flavorings.
Mm.
So she's kind of telling you, like, we want Crane, like, give him to us right now. And my sequence was, I told her, like, he's in custody, he belongs to us, like, we're not going to give him to you, like, who are you?
Same
kind of situation.
here, Mo. I did the same thing.
This is another situation where I thought this game was like already over, so I wasn't expecting any more interactions because, like, timing wise, it was about an hour already, and my hand was like kind of just watching the show, and sure enough, a gun is pointed at you, and it's like press W on the keyboard. So I'm like, oh my god, but I didn't click it fast enough, so I get shot right in the chest and fly like back, and I'm like, oh, I press escape right away to see if I can start from the last checkpoint to see if I can go back to like where I was, but no, you can't.
Oh
no.
Boy.
So I got shot, and then you get the sequence of transformation. So you start approaching Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and as you approach, your eyes start turning yellow. And then you kind of slide away from a gunshot, and you slide forward again, and then like you start getting bigger and stronger. And I think this was the most transformed you ended up being as you're taking shot after shot after shot from Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and you start unloading your claws of fury on all of them. And there's the option. Do you kill Tweedledee, or do you not kill Tweedledee as you pin him against the wall?
Is it D or dumb?
They're interchangeable.
Yeah, they're interchangeable.
Yeah, Jacob, what happened here for you? Did you get shot?
So I got shot a whole bunch of times,
okay.
like
same.
1,000 times, and as Mo stated, kind of transformed. And that's when you're given the option, like, are you gonna kill Dumb or not? And like, obviously, I told you about my hierarchy of hate, as I'm calling it in this game. Dumb gon' get it, so I killed Dumb.
Wolf
I didn't hesitate.
Get it to you.
2 seconds, dead.
Mike, what did you do?
I did not kill him because I am a big bad wolf that uses his powers responsibly. Tweedledee / Tweedledum they were not an ongoing threat. They clearly knew their place from here on out. And I felt like there was nothing to be gained from killing them.
Mo?
Here's my logic.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Go to the dark side, Mo.
Don't do it,
No,
Mo.
so there's a couple things to it. The one biggest thing, I really hate these two characters. Like they just have like a look to them, like they're like always conniving and wanting to do the wrong thing, like against people.
They look like
Seems
human
like
thumbs.
Yeah. Another thing too is they already pointed weapons at bystanders and shot them, aka Holly and Gren, who were just like, what the heck's going on? And they already had guns at your back several times before. They're twisting the rules, breaking the law for their own will, or maybe their master's will. Yes. So I was like, you know what? They're only good together, so let's get rid of one of them. The other one's useless.
Yes!
You know,
so I definitely took them down.
You make a compelling case. I still would not feel good about killing him, but I understand where you're coming from.
With that said, as soon as because it's a gruesome, what you do is you end up clawing the Tweedledee's like throat out of his like body kind of thing. So you just take a giant chunk out of him and he just falls and dies, and they pan to Snow White and she's horrified. She can't believe what you did. In that moment, I'm like, uh-oh, what did I do? I got the wolf got the best of me.
Instant regret.
Yeah.
Instant.
It was such a cool moment because imagine Dumb is pinned to the wall and he's just like, F you, wolf. And you're just given the option, do you just kill him or you let him go? And
just grab his throat.
It's so brutal. He like claws his whole Adam's apple area out and just leaves him for dead.
Wow.
My bloodlust is showing right now. Mo, welcome to the dark side.
No. I felt bad. I want to leave. I want to be a Jedi. I want to be a
Jedi. Don't
Jedi.
worry. You can come back to the light, man. You can come back to the light.
Let the dark side take you over.
No, don't do it.
Is that Darth Vader?
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, so this is the kind of where we get to the closing sequence. So once you kill him, you end up right as soon as I killed him, you get shot with that silver bullet right into your side, and instantly Bigby's finally like hurt. It's not just like a
not a
discomfort shot.
Yeah,
it's definitely something that's hurting him because he drops to the ground. And this is when Bloody Mary takes out an axe and is kind of walking towards him to kind of deal that final blow. And you just can't really. I think it gives you the option to button mash to kind of get up. I thought maybe I was going to be able to counter it, but no. There's nothing you can do. And Snow White ends up screaming, like, take Crane, like, leave him alone kind of situation. And this is when that window starts rolling down on the limousine, and you see a small little peek of a new character. All you see is his hand, and it's kind of like the side of his face. And he waves her down and says, you come back to the car. Meaning they can take Crane and they can leave, and he doesn't want her to kill Big
doesn't
B.
want to kill Big B.
Yeah,
clearly it's someone who kind of values the status quo of things.
Mm-hmm.
Does not want to shake things up too much because currently profiting from them.
And he's definitely that crooked man that that was brought up several times in the game. He's the head boss. He's the leader. Because remember, Mary was so confident, so in charge of the situation, that a simple wave of like a hand telling her to stopped her in her tracks, and she completely changed her mind and came back to the car. So whoever he is, he's definitely calling the shots. I don't think anyone's above him.
Was that Woody's axe that Mary had?
I think so, yeah.
I think it was.
Woody being
just because of the
woodsman.
symbol.
Yeah.
And
with that axe as her kind of final blow to say, like, I'm in control here, she just breaks your arm.
Yeah.
And, like, in a brutal, just, like, bone jutting out of your arm kind of way, Mo.
Yeah, that was probably the most gruesome thing. At least I felt. Like, even the murder of, like, Tweedledee or whatever, ripping his throat out, that was bad. But this broken bone thing with your bone sticking out of your arm and your arm twisted, that was probably the nastiest, because maybe it was like the most relatable, like realistic thing that could happen.
Yeah, I puked. And I think the truth bomb at the end of this is Mary says that Crane isn't the killer. So the real killer is still out there. And that's how the episode is left.
Yep.
Narissa sees the whole thing as well, which I'm sure will happen. Like stuff will happen there. The Little Mermaid, Narissa. But that's kind of how the episode is left.
Boys, I can't wait for the next one.
Holy smokes! What an ending! Best ending so far.
We're getting close.
Yeah, getting very close to the end of this.
2 more episodes.
2 more episodes to go. If you want to tune into that, we're dropping episode 4 next week, followed by episode 5. It's Wolfvember, boys.
Yeah, there we go.
If you want to talk about Wolfvember, we have a spoilers discussion section in our Discord, right, Michael?
Right. So if you go to leftbehindgame.club or leftbehindgameclub.com, there's a big fat button to join our Discord server. And in there, we have a spoilers discussion around the game. We have general discussion. We have off-topic discussion. And we have some really big, fat game deals going on. People are always dropping them in there, tempting us to spend money. And yeah, you can find me. You can find Jacob. You can find Mo. We're all in there hanging out, joining in the chat. Mo, outside of the Discord server, where can the people find you at?
You can find me at Murtadi on most social media platforms or murtadi.com.
Jacob, where can the people find you at?
You can find me at Jacob McCourt, being evil,
Expressing your big bad wolf.
being the big bad wolf, or at jacobmccourt.com. I'm a little bit nicer there.
Gotcha.
Mike, where can the people find you?
You can find me at michaelruffolo.com, michaelruffolo.ca, both of those. Or Ruffolo M on most social places online. But the place to find me should be the Discord server. So yeah, hop in, say hi, let's hang out and chat. And that, my friends, is one last episode left behind.